Welcome everybody. My name is Robert Carlisle, and today we're going to talk to you about Euphoria, being you never felt better. So, with that being said, get a piece of paper, get a pen, get something to write with that you can take some notes. We have some wonderful presenters, and at the very end, if you have questions, go ahead and chime into the chat box. And most important, if someone told you about Euphoria, please get back to that person so that they can share more information with you and answer any questions you may have. So, with that being said, let's get started.
We've known forever that everybody's different. And now we're beginning to understand why. This is the first company that marries this extraordinary extreme science to this extraordinary human experience. The very things that make us unique in the world, populated by billions of human beings, we're realizing why every single person is different. Next slide, please. The next step, or the purpose of this company, is to marry this extraordinary science with this unique business opportunity and unique human experience. Next slide, please. And hence Uforia as a company, the company that will change the world as we know it. It's the first and only company to truly and accurately manufacture a product that's unique to a single person right down to their DNA. So let's take a look at how we got here. The history of nutrition started all the way back when people started, and we simply ate what we could find that was edible in order to stay alive. If you go back far enough, even the concept of cooking was new. But blind nutrition was how we actually started discussing food from a technical and scientific standpoint. Those of you that are old enough will remember the food pyramid. As good as it was, that was still blind nutrition. It was general advice for everybody. What was good for your 80-year-old grandmother with severe healthcare problems was identical to the nutritional advice for you as a healthy 20-something. Certainly, it was uncertain. It was too much for some people and too little for others, probably toxic and wasteful for others. In those intervening years, the average health of the average citizen in this country actually got worse, not better. So clearly, it wasn't working. Next slide, please. Targeted nutrition was where we went next, with the understanding that there were certain nutrients that were potentially very beneficial to everybody. Vitamins were a good example that fit this category. But we still had a one-size-fits-all mentality. And then we added minerals, but the same one-size-fits-all formulation. Too much for some people, too little for others. And in many cases, it still missed the cofactors that would make the ingredients useful to the body in the first place. Next slide, please. This brings us to today, and Uforia is the first company to provide what your body is actually asking for. Your genes speak and Uforia listens and provides you with nutrients that your body wants and needs. Good health is now where it can become a habit and not be an event. Next slide, please. There's 3 very easy steps. You buy a kit, you register it at ustart.com, you pay for the lab test, and you start the pre-nutrition included in the starter kit. And then in 10 to 14 days, your DNA test will be complete. Your results will be sent to you, and your one-of-a-kind, truly personalized supplement will be manufactured exclusively for you, answering your body's primary and probably most important question: when are you going to feed me what I actually need? Next slide, please. Here's what's in the kit. There's 180 capsules of a powerful foundation nutrient that we call pre-nutrition. It's taken at a rate of 6 capsules a day, typically 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and it's loaded not only with nutrients, but also prebiotic fiber and digestive enzymes to really crank up your digestion so that you benefit not only from this product, but literally from every single mouthful you eat. So in essence, it prepares you for the even more powerful, customized nutrition to come. You also get 2 swabs, 1 for each cheek. You get a black envelope that the swabs go in, the pre-addressed postage paid envelope that mails your swabs off, and a $100 discount to reduce your $199 DNA test to a cost of $99. Next slide, please. When you register your kit, you're actually registering a random barcode number that's associated with those swabs. That's the only way your DNA can be identified while it's at the lab. There's no human identifiers allowed. So your information is absolutely secure, and even if that information were stolen, no one could ever know whose DNA belonged to whom. And on top of that, the entire program is HIPAA compliant. HIPAA is the federal law that, among other things, governs the security of your data and makes it illegal for it to ever be shared without your knowledge or consent. I get asked regularly about our fine print and whether or not the data could be shared or sold. Well, there is no fine print because that's just not Uforia's style. Your information is secure, and the lab itself is compliant with the highest standards in the world for quality and accuracy, including CLIA certification and CAP accreditation. Next slide, please. Here's a list of the genes and SNPs that we're looking for in the DNA test. The RS number in yellow type are the actual scientific addresses of the exact variants that Uforia looks for. If someone were to Google the gene in the RS number, they'd find many thousands of references, some from NIH, PubMed, etc. This list represents 2 of the 3 areas of science that our program actually relies on. The body of evidence that the functions of these genes are clearly understood, and the body of evidence that these SNPs, represented by these RS numbers, identify increased probability of healthcare problems in someone's future. Also listed here is a description of the area of your health that's influenced by these genes and SNPs for the ease of understanding by most consumers. This next slide is a video narrated by Dr. Jen Myers, and these are all available for everyone who wants to know more about specific genes. Let's look at that first video here. Next slide, please.
CYP11B2 gene helps to maintain blood pressure in normal ranges and is essential for a healthy heart. This gene encodes the enzyme aldosterone synthase, which is an enzyme necessary in the biosynthesis of aldosterone. Aldosterone is a hormone that plays a role in achieving favorable salt and fluid levels in the body, and hence retaining a healthy blood pressure already in the normal range. Individuals with a SNP and the CYP11B2 gene can benefit from supplementation with Uforia to help maintain blood pressure levels in the normal range and support overall cardiovascular health.
There's one of these videos for each of the 12 genes, or each of the 16 genes and 18 SNPs in the panel. But notice what Dr. Jen is saying as well as what she's not saying. These specific ingredients for this gene support healthy blood pressure. We're not talking about, nor is the program representing, that our product will treat high blood pressure. So is that a negative for someone who asks if this will help with his or her high blood pressure? Well, I would answer the question with a question. If your blood pressure is already elevated, wouldn't you rather take a supplement that has a proven track record of supporting healthy blood pressure? We can't answer a medical question for somebody's body, but we can supply them with a formula that supports their health where they can benefit the most. Truly medical questions should be directed to their healthcare practitioners. This next slide that we're looking at here is the third leg of the stool, so to speak, in the Uforia program. The science surrounding these ingredients is equally strong. There are lots of studies that validate and support the selection of ingredients to support health in the areas represented by that person's SNPs. And note that what these ingredients are. While vitamins and minerals are synthesized for purity and strength and are 100% identical at a molecular level to those found in nature for true bioavailability, the majority of the ingredients that you can see here are plant-based. Why? Because Mother Nature knows best. While we haven't plumbed the depths of all the science regarding nutrition, Mother Nature has. And so in addition to the 100 or so targeted nutritional ingredients in our program, there are literally thousands of micronutrients included with these plant-based ingredients that serve as additional nutrition and as cofactors we haven't even discovered yet to make our product the most positive and potent that it can be. Next slide, please. There are almost 400 million possible combinations in Uforia's manufacturing operation, and the exact one that's best for your exact body is what's selected from your DNA profile. The number 400 million is confusing to some and is questioned by many people because there's only one specific formula provided in the program for each of the 18 SNPs. So people can't believe that there can be nearly 400 million possible combinations. The simple math is there are 400 million possible combinations of greens, yellows, and reds. And that's what's being used to determine your formula. So there are just as many formula combinations as there are combinations of green, yellow, and red. And the only one that's optimal for your combinations of SNPs. Next slide, please. Because this is truly your formula, it has your name on it. You can purchase your formula either in a powder that you'd add to shakes or smoothies, or in a capsule form, where you'd simply take the 10 capsules a day, typically 5 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. Next slide, please. This is the Nutritionator, and this is really the secret sauce of the program. Larger companies are intimidated by what we try to do, or what we do. When they make 1 million bottles of supplements, they produce a huge batch, put them on shelves all over the world, but they can't even imagine making 1 million bottles of supplements one at a time. For their 1 million bottle production run, the FDA requires them to keep a single sample of that production run on hand for 2 years. If Uforia produces 1 million bottles of supplements, all to different formulas for 1 million different people, they have to store 1 million supplements, 1 million samples of the supplements. So big companies are too intimidated by the production challenges to do what we do, and small companies simply couldn't afford to do it. Next slide, please. Nutrition doesn't work like a drug. We're simply giving the body what it needs, and the body appreciates it. The body's response is to be able to function more optimally because it has the raw materials that its DNA says the body needs. So our formula doesn't do something to your body does something with the formula. It gets and stays healthier. Next slide, please. No two of us are alike, and so our nutritional needs are all equally different. So why not honor and respect those differences? Next slide, please. The culture of Uforia celebrates everyone's uniqueness. And some of that celebration takes the form of truly beautiful materials that honor and exemplify the fact that we as humans, like snow and leaves and sand and stars and butterflies and shells, are all also truly unique. Here we're going to watch the short video that compares us to snowflakes. Next slide, please. And one more slide, please.
Modern technology wasn't so modern when it gave us the first images of snowflakes. For the first time, we saw the beauty of nature's creation, and the secret was revealed. No matter how many times we look, no matter how many snowflakes we see, when the same atoms, the same molecules that give us so much frozen white wonder come together, no two snowflakes are exactly the same. Each snowflake created by random design of Mother Nature's chance, each one created by divine choice. Just like all of us, made up of the same elements, the same molecules, yet each one uniquely different. You and the snowflake, unique by chance, divine by choice.
Let's review the 3 steps. You purchase a U-Start kit, you register the swabs and pay for your DNA test. Then you start your nutrition while you wait your DNA results and the personalized nutrition formula. Next slide, please. Your ability to take care of yourself and to be healthier begins here and now. This is a habit and not an event. This is the opportunity to give your body exactly what it's asking for every day for the rest of your life. Thank you
very much. And Joe, outstanding job. I want to be where you're at right now. The background looked just amazing, and I want to leave Dallas and fly out to where you're at. But thank you very much for inviting me onto the call this evening. As Craig said, my name is John McKelp, and I live in Dallas, Texas. And it's my pleasure to spend just a little bit of time with each one of you tonight. And, you know, we have an outstanding business here. We have an outstanding array, product today, soon to be array of products. But there's a very compelling business opportunity that we have here as well. And I want to break this down just a little bit and share with you some insights on what you need to do to be successful should you choose to make that next step and become involved with us as a nutritionist in our company. Next slide, please. This is a picture of Ron Williams, and Ron joined us on the call just a little while ago. He was all bundled up there in Ohio, where it's like 50 below with the wind chill factor. And Ron, we appreciate you traveling all over the country and doing what you're doing, and allowing us to be warm while you're cold. And so we appreciate that. We'll get out there a little bit more in the summertime, I'm sure. But I had the good fortune of meeting Ron Williams at the very end of September last year. And I spent 3 days with him in St. George. And you know, when I came away, he is such an amazing individual. This is somebody who's got a very gracious heart, somebody who has an extreme amount of knowledge in the nutritional industry, launched and was the CEO of a publicly traded direct sales company doing business in nearly 100 countries around the world, I believe, a tremendous nutritional background. But what I came away with is here's a person who is the CEO of this company that's creating an amazing culture, a person who's got an amazing heart, and he really wants others to be able to successful with the mindset of together, we're going to get to the top of the mountain. And he has this really great quote that I'm going to say here real quick is, I've seen the future in wellness. I see Uforia becoming to supplement companies what Amazon has become to retail outlets. Where will you be during that tipping point? And if you think about that term tipping point, how important that is, because it wasn't that many years ago when there was a company called Uber that came out, and who knew what Uber was? And today it's a way of life for us, and taxi cabs have gone by the wayside for the most part. And that's just not here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. That is all over the world. The first Uber I ever used, I was standing in Malaysia in Asia. The first time that I ever used an Uber was in Malaysia. And then another industry redeveloper came into play. Airbnb and VRBO, they came in and completely changed the landscape in which how people vacation, not only vacation in the United States or North America, but literally all over the globe. We are doing, ladies and gentlemen, what I think those two companies did. They came in and they founded new industry. They founded new opportunity, and this landscape will change. Let me tell you what I mean. Today with personalized nutrition, which is what we have, fast forward 15 years, imagine standing in a store with one of your children. I can see this happening so vividly. And one of my kids saying, you know, Dad, seriously, you would come into a store and you would buy something off the shelf and everybody else took the same thing. We're all different. Everybody gets a DNA test and we know what to take, what's good for us. It's like, God, Dad, that's like living way back in the caveman days. I mean, think about it for a moment. That's what's going to be happening. So either you can be in front of that curve or you can be behind that curve. I chose to get involved in this business. After 2 weeks visiting with Ron Williams, when I came home, my wife and I, we sold all of our other business interests and we started full-time in Uforia. And this presentation, at the end of it, you're going to see why we made that decision to be all in this opportunity. I've been in direct sales since 1987, other than 7 years running resorts for Marriott. At that time, I've been inside of companies, helping them build and grow and develop all over the globe. Same thing as being a representative or a distributor, a nutritionist with our company, helping companies build all over the globe as well. I've lived internationally. This is the greatest business opportunity I have seen since 1987 of being involved in the direct sales arena, and that's why I'm involved in this business full time. Next slide, please. So what happens is you need to be prepared, because this is what's going to happen. When you start, should you choose to get involved and start our business, like many of you will, you're going to start. And when you start, you're going to have your nutrition. You're going to have your You Start kit. So here's two things that can happen. You can be sitting with somebody and they can go, great, I'm ready to get going. And you're like, okay, let's go order your You Start kit. And they're going to wait 3 or 5 or 7 days. Or you can say, that's great. I've got one for you and one for your significant other right now. Let's get started. You can open it up and you have them right on the spot, take their DNA test. You can even mail it in for them in the morning. They start taking the nutrition, the pre-trition. You explain the benefits. Now they're engaged. They're locked in. They're seeing what's happening and going on. I've seen this following thing happen. I've been in an in-home presentation before. There are 7 or 8 couples in the home. When the presentation gets over, many people are walking in with their nutrition. And when it's done, they're turning to their new people and they're saying, how do you see yourself getting involved? And they're opening up these kits. And I've seen another couple there who their sponsor didn't have any of these. They didn't bring, and they're looking around the room like, how come they get to take their DNA test tonight? How come they get to start taking the product and I can't? I got to think that the person maybe felt just a little foolish. You have an opportunity when you start in our company. You can purchase one You Start kit. You can purchase 3. You can purchase 5. You can purchase 10. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you end up, and you get involved in between a little scared and a little nervous. You don't want to buy too much or too little. You do what's comfortable for you. But here's what you need to do. You need to have some inventory because you're going to own your own business. If you buy a 3-pack, it's a 15% savings. You're going to save 15%. You're also going to earn some additional income. On the bottom down there, you see what's called D&D rebate. We're going to talk about that just a little bit later, dividend discounts and dividends. Here's what you're going to do. If you buy a 3-pack, you're saving 15%, but you're going to basically earn 25% return on your money. You're going to get a pack for you, you're going to get a pack for your significant other, and then you've got 1 pack there for that next person you talk to when they want to become a customer or a nutritionist. You've got one for them. If you want to take a little more of an aggressive approach, you get a 5-pack. This is what I did, and I made the wrong mistake. I should have got 10, but here's what I did. I got a 5-pack. It came to me. I began using 1. I had 4 left. The first person I called was my dentist. I said, I've got a 2.5-minute video I want you to take a look at. Call me back. I appreciate it. He called me back later that night. We talked for 5 or 10 minutes. He said, John, I want 2, 1 for me and 1 for my wife. My wife goes, I want one of those 2 that are left. I said, of course, sweetheart. So we did her DNA test. When my dentist, I showed up at his office the next day. His wife was there. We swabbed them both, got them both involved. Then I called a person I went to college with. He lives here in Dallas, and I went to school in Southern California. And I met him at 11 o'clock at night in a restaurant because he got off work late. And the mistake I did was I had 1 of these left, and I showed up. And after we had dinner, we talked. He goes, I'm ready to get going on 1. I want 1 for me, and I want 1 for my wife. And I knew I fumbled. I knew I didn't have what I needed to have. So I got him going, took the DNA test. I had to make another order. I ordered a 10-pack. Why? Because if I ordered a 10-pack, I'm going to earn a 50% return on my money. I'm going to spend $1,200, but I'm going to earn $600 once I've sold the kits. The kits are $159.95. I sell them for $170 because where I live here in Dallas, for UPS ground, it's $10 to ship the kit to me. So I'm going to charge someone what it actually costs me. And if I buy a 10-pack, I'm going to make a little bit more money on it, but I'm going to earn a 50% return. On a 5-pack, I'm going to make 37%. And on a 3-pack, I'm going to make 25%. This is a business. I can profiteer. That's okay. But I've got inventory to get new people going in the business now. Next slide, please. If you happen to live in Canada, we've got a 3-pack for you. I apologize. There's not the 5 and 10 available. There's country laws in Canada that are different in the United States. But I encourage you to start with a 3-pack. 1 for you, 1 for your significant other, and then you can purchase 1 for yourself, right? You're going to be able to make a nice return. You're going to make a 28% return on that. And then you just keep buying 3-packs and you roll them. You keep buying them because everybody you talk to is going to want to start. And we know the importance of getting somebody started right and immediately using the product. They're engaged. Now they're talking to people and they say, hey, what have you done? Because people are going to say, John, how did you start? You got to tell them how you're going to start. Well, I bought 1, or I didn't buy any, or I bought 3, or that people want it because they're going to say, great, I'm going to do what you did. They're going to start the exact same way. Next slide, please. So here's what happens. If you can imagine this for a moment, right? And I've seen this happen not just in the United States, but literally all over the world. You're involved in Uforia and you begin talking to a couple of people, and 2 or 3 people become a nutritionist with us, and they begin to build and develop through the business. You talk to a few more and they get involved, and a few more and they get involved, and people are talking to people. Next slide, please. What happens is this. It's really interesting because you want to think about being able, how much money can you earn? I mean, you're in this because it's a very healthy product, but if you want to begin to go build an organization, why not earn more money for doing the same thing? So as you're out building and growing and developing, because everybody gets a U-Start kit, and the next month, a U-Start kit, the next month, everybody gets their nutrition. It's auto shipped to them. They begin taking the product. Every single month, you're going to earn an override of all those monthly auto ships that are sent on the nutrition. But what if those nutritionists, next slide, please. And what I mean by what if, this is what I know to be happening. They're talking to people. They're enrolling new people that become nutritionists. But some of those people go, hey, that's a great product. I want to become a customer. So imagine all of your nutritionists, as they're talking to people, they're accumulating other nutritionists, they're accumulating other customers. Guess what? Say, for example, each one has 3 customers. You've now earning 4 times more money than you were earning versus if they didn't talk to anybody and they only recruited other nutritionists to start in the business. Can you see how your income can magnify? Next slide, please. Well, what happens if they enroll 5 customers? And don't forget, we have a tremendous customer referral program that you're going to hear about in just a moment, where a customer can get their nutrition shipped to them for free. They don't pay for their product. How exciting is that? So customers are trying to talk to other customers because they want to share something great. So imagine as you're building and growing and as your business is happening, many of those people are now having 2, 3, 4, and 5 customers or more. When they've each enrolled 5 customers, you're earning 6 times more income because you've got those 5 customers plus that one nutritionist. They're all getting auto ship. You're getting paid on all of them, right? Next slide, please. Here's when it really begins to blow up. This is when it really gets exciting. Imagine each one of your nutritionists, and they have 7 customers, 10 customers, 15 customers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have people after a couple of months that have 10 customers, 20 customers, 30 customers, 40 customers engaged with them personally. That's what's happening with this. That's how exciting that this is. People flock to what we're doing, the energy that we have. Everybody wants to know more about DNA. Thanks to 23andMe and Ancestry.com, they've opened up the door. We're going to go capitalize upon it. We've got a great opportunity in front of us. Next slide, please. We're so excited at what we have, but what drives this company is the product, and what drives it is the compensation plan. And pay close attention.
So what did you folks think? That's a lot of good information, wasn't it? Every time I listen to these presenters, I always get excited because they always have some new information that I don't know about. So I always tune into the live webinars, the Zooms that they have. Again, thank you to all the presenters that presented today. And I hope this was a value to you, to your business, and you got information that will help you with your health. And with that being said, chime into the chat box and most definitely get back to the person that brought you to this webinar. And we look forward to speaking with you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Take care.